Welcome back to the Iced Coffee Hour. I'm Elliot Choi, and so far, this podcast has made $230,000.
Very close.
That
Very
was a
close.
fantastic guess.
It's 247,000.
Ah,
that was
should've
good.
known.
You're one of the closest
Yeah.
we've ever had, I think.
That's
okay.
true.
So
I
thank
kind
you
of
for
like
that.
watched one from like a month ago, so
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a
that's
good
cool.
guess. Thank
okay.
you.
Welcome to Vegas.
Thank you.
What are you doing here?
I'm here for a trade show actually.
What's the trade show?
a clothing trade show. It's called Magic Sourcing. So here to like talk to manufacturers. So I was here for like the past few days doing that
Is that manufacturers for like a personal brand or something like that?
for
or-
clothing.
For clothing.
Yeah. So just trying to find new manufacturers and factories.
And this is your merch line.
yeah, for copyright.
So we've seen your videos from back in the day. I remember when it was a big thing to do like a day in the life of a Harvard student,
Mhm.
day in
Blowing
the
up.
life of Yale student,
Mhm.
and then there's you, day in the life at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And that video got how many? Was it 5 million views? 4 million?
No,
it
views?
not that much.
2.5.
That was around
Yeah.
2, I think.
2.5
Last I
million views.
checked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was that your first video ever?
So that's my first public video,
Uh-huh.
but maybe overall like my 7th video.
7th video.
Yeah.
Was that like the first video you took seriously, or was it like
Yeah, that was like, okay, so I made a few videos about like flipping and reselling because I used to do that in high
Mhm.
school, very Gary Vee inspired. And then I made some videos about like selling on Amazon
Mhm.
because I used to do that and that was terrible. And then I took a year off and then my first real attempt back was that day in the life video.
and it just absolutely popped off?
It
And
did really well for like my first real attempt at YouTube.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, I think like having the other videos beforehand kind of helped with that though.
It's pretty amazing because like you gained 50,000 subscribers in just like 2 months, right?
I think I have a video named something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What
wh-
was so special about that Vanderbilt video? Why do you think so many people watched it?
Yeah, there was like a ton of day in the life videos at the time, like
Yeah.
Harvard, like you said, Harvard, Princeton, like
Yeah.
any other college. There was like a ton of viral videos. And then with my school, Vanderbilt, there was only like one video, day in the life video, and it had 10K views. So I was like, okay, like if I make a decent video, it'll probably do well. And I got lucky and it ended up doing well. So I spent like a week like researching because at the time, this is 2018.
Mhm.
At the time, the only thing you needed was good watch time and good click through rate. And it's like a viral video. Nowadays, it's a little different.
Tell
but
us about that video. What did you do in that video?
in that video
Yeah.
specifically that made it
Yeah.
perform well.
Yeah, like how was your day?
Oh, how was my day? It's a really like regular video. Just like wake up, breakfast. I read a book, maybe like went to classes, went to the gym, hung out with friends. Very normal, average day. I think what made it like do well was a lot of the other videos, day in the life videos. There's a lot of people kind of talking
Mhm.
and not showing, and I was like kind of bothered by that. I was like, oh, I want to know like how long are your classes, or like how nice are the amenities there, like at your college campus. So I try to like lean into that and fix some of those things that I saw
And for
as
those
problems.
day in the life videos, I have a feeling that someone picks, like if you're going to make one of those day in the life videos, you're going to pick out a day that you have a lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah.
Did you do that, or did you
Yeah.
just do like a? So you picked out a day where you're like, okay, I'm gonna read. It's my first time reading in 2 months, but I'm
No,
gonna read
yeah.
today.
Wake up at
I'm
4
gonna-
a.m.
Yeah,
today.
exactly.
Do like a cold shower and journal, but
Yeah, some of it is definitely like hyped up a little bit.
yeah,
I think that's also just like my effort to like really show like a variety of things that maybe it wouldn't just go into one day, but like an average of multiple different days. So
Mhm.
I was really thinking about like myself as like a high school student, looking up day in the life videos for my school and not finding anything that was like actually relevant or actually that informational. So
Mhm.
Do you think that goes into a high schooler's decision? in
oh
terms of
yeah.
which college? Do they YouTube like day in the life of
Yeah.
you know?
When I was making college
Yeah.
videos, like guaranteed a ton of those viewers were high schoolers.
Really?
Yeah, and even myself, like when I got accepted into Vandy, I was like looking up day in the life videos, and there was none that was like super good or well produced or anything. So even myself, I was like looking at stuff like that.
How'd you pick Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt, they gave me good financial aid,
Okay.
so they threw me a lot of money, and I said, okay, I'll go.
Did you apply to like
Yeah.
Harvard, Yale?
No,
Stanford,
no,
no?
not really. I only applied to mostly state schools,
Okay.
like maybe like USC, Cornell, Vanderbilt. Like those are the ones you know probably.
yeah.
So
and that video did extremely well. Did it do well out the gate, or did it take a while to like start catching on?
I have some like screenshots. I don't remember exactly. Maybe like I want to say like 10K views in the first week,
Mhm.
which was crazy for me.
yeah.
Coming from 100 views max on some of those older videos. So
Yeah.
10K views off the gate, and then within the span of a few months, like
And that probably
20, 30, 40, up to maybe 100.
wow.
That was
How much
crazy.
clout do you get at a college campus after that? I've been so curious. 'Cause everyone must be like, "Yo, that's Ellie. That he had that video."
That's funny. No, I feel like my peers like didn't know at all. Like
Really?
anyone in my grade. It was more so like I really noticed it when a new freshman class came in, because every single one of those freshmen coming into the school like had watched that video, because they're just like me when I was a senior in high school, just curious about like what is college life like, and like what am I gonna expect, like what am I gonna experience. They're just like so curious. So that was weird. And then the next freshman class after that, it was even more. So that's the first week of like a new semester was always pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah, but
What
definitely
yeah.
not like my people in my grade.
What did you go to study there?
I studied business. Yeah, just like general business.
So was
yeah.
your expectation you were gonna graduate and then just go in the field of
Yeah.
that? Like, what did you want to be?
Freshman year, I wanted to go into IB, like investment banking. Sophomore, I wanted to be in consulting, and I'm like so glad I did. Like I'm so glad I escaped that. But I was very much just like I was kind of brainwashed. It's really like, oh, that's like what I'm supposed to do. That's like the best job you can get. It's like IB or consulting. So
How many of your friends went into investment banking?
a good amount, actually. Right around like my year, investment banking was becoming less popular and consulting was becoming more popular, mostly probably because of like the work culture and that type of thing. So a lot of my friends are in consulting, and then a good amount are also in like tech, like from college specifically.
It sounds stupid. What does a consultant do? Because I would have a hard time imagining like what a fresh college graduate, no offense, could consult on for like a large company. You would think that they would just hire people with prior experience in the industry to consult.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I never worked a consulting job, so I couldn't tell
okay.
you. I guess my friends would say they just like apply problem solving like frameworks, I guess. I don't know. I was never a consultant, so I
feel
don't
the
know.
exact same way, man.
Yeah.
I never knew what it was because I was studying econ at UCSB.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, like I could go into consulting. What is that? Like I have no idea.
I feel like
No
consulting
idea.
is one of those buzzwords now. It's
Yeah.
like democratizing
It's kind of an umbrella
whatever
thing.
it is.
You know what I mean? Like it means a lot of other things that are under consulting.
But people throw that in to confuse you.
Yeah.
It's like, I do consulting. All right. It's, just, it's one of those things that just like,
It
I do
sounds
real
nice.
estate. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But it could mean anything.
Yeah, I really could.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so
But at what point then did you realize it's like, I'm not going to do consulting. I'm not going to do investment banking. The
Yeah.
YouTube channel's popping off. I'm going to be a YouTuber.
it was like a very gradual process for me. I definitely started off like not really convinced that YouTube was going to work out. Like I was still like trying to get summer internships and that type of thing. And then I remember like there being a little bit of a turning point, which was I made like this viral video, and it ended up like making a lot of revenue like off that video. It's from AdSense. And then that was like really a turning point, because I hadn't really made money from YouTube before that. And then at that point I was like, oh, like you can actually like make money from YouTube, like, you know, comparable to what I might make at like a consulting job or a finance job. So for me, I was like, okay, like I'll always like do YouTube on the side, right? Like that's what I was doing at the time, full-time student, YouTube on the side. Maybe I was like, oh, maybe I'll just like go work a normal job, do YouTube on the side. But yeah, definitely at a point kind of like switch.
What was that video?
Yeah, that was giving Harvard students an iPhone.
I
Giving away,
saw that video.
yeah, giving away an iPhone at Harvard or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, that was like a very different video. But I was in a group chat with Jimmy, Mr. Beast, like Ryan, a few other friends, and like it was called I forget what it's called, 10 million bangers or something. And we were just focused on making a video with 10 million views. And so I was very influenced by them, and I was like, oh, I need to make a viral video. So that was my effort at that. And yeah, I think it got like 24 million views or something.
Wait, what goes on in this secret world? The 10
Is that
million
group
club,
chat dead
like,
now? Is it?
It's totally
non-existent?
dead now. Yeah, it's totally dead. I feel like they just like start up and then like they kind of die. But
what was going on in there? Like, how did you get
Um,
access to that?
I was friends with Ryan. So Ryan Trahan, he's
Yeah.
a great YouTuber. Yeah, I met Ryan like at a talk that I gave with him at my other friend's conference. And yeah, that was how I met Ryan. And then Ryan kind of invited me in. But what goes on in there, like just conversations about like, oh, this video, is it going to do well? Like, why is it going to do well? A lot of like thumbnail comparisons, like what's the better thumbnail and why? A lot of times like previewing each other's videos. And like we used to do like a weekly call where we just like gave feedback and like kind of roasted each other.
How long ago was that?
This was a while ago. This was like my sophomore, junior year of college.
Was it intimidating to be in that group?
Not intimidating. It was just like super exciting just because, yeah, it was just fun to like learn.
Whose idea was it to go to Harvard and give away iPhones?
Whose idea was it?
Yeah, was it yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the time, like when I made this video, there were a ton of really viral videos where people were giving away iPhones. And I had done like a Harvard day in the life video, and that had done like super well, like a few million views. So I was like, okay, like trivia, giving away iPhones, already hitting 10 million of views or whatever. And then like my day in the life video at Harvard already had like a few million views. And I was like, let me just combine the two and like do that. So it's kind of like on brand and like, I don't know.
And as soon as you produced that video, did you know it was going to be a banger?
Yeah. When I was planning it, I was like, oh, this is going to go viral. Like this is going to be big.
What the people, oh, sorry, go for it.
Yeah. No, I thought it was going to reach like a few million views, but it did like way better than that. So
how much did that video make you?
Okay. So this is a really interesting story. I basically had $3,000 in my bank account when I made that video. I spent $2,000 on the 2 iPhones that I gave away, $500 on a round trip flight to Boston from Vanderbilt. And so I had like $500 in my bank account when I went to Boston. And I was like, I put all my chips on one thing. I was just like, okay, this has to do well or else I'm screwed. The video made like, I think like right now it's close to 100K. So maybe around like 98, 99 in that range. I don't know. I don't know the last time I checked. Hopefully
That's
it's at like
incredible ROI.
Yeah, it was like, I can't tell you guys like how insane that feeling was because remember I had like $500 left in my bank account. And the first week, I think in the first 6 days, it had 6 million views or something like that.
Holy cow.
And then the AdSense hit, like the first check for AdSense was like 20 or 30 or 40, something like that. And so imagine going from like 500, never having more than $4,000, $5,000 in my bank account ever, to now having like my first check of that 100K was 20, 30, 40K. And so like I literally felt I can imagine like what it feels like to win the lottery.
Yeah.
Because it literally felt like that. It was like the most insane high I've ever felt in my life. Yeah. And like even just talking about it right now, I'm like kind of like bringing myself back and like, oh my God, like sophomore year, junior year, Elliot was just like, I was just off the walls.
So how do you not then just go back to Harvard and do it again? Like,
yeah.
Why not just repeat? You found a winning thing. Just keep doing that.
Yeah. I didn't like want to end up being one of those creators that like just did interviews and stuff. I get the question a lot, like why didn't I just go back and do it? But at the end of the day, like I love making vlogs, like I like making videos about my life, and you know, like that type of video is more of like a hosting role than like a main character role, if you want to make that comparison. So for me, it's like I really cared about like sharing stories about my life and sharing my perspective. And although like that type of video does well and makes a lot of money, like makes you successful because you get a lot of subscribers. I got like 400K subscribers for that video. Yeah, it just like wasn't what I wanted. So I went back to like just making normal like vlogs.
What's amazing to me is that you gained 400,000 subscribers from that video, but still you were somehow able to pivot to vlogging, where usually like you see someone grow and then they pivot and then their channel dies.
Yeah.
But you also have amazing engagement for the amount of subscribers that you have. You have like 1.2 million subscribers, but each of your videos gets like 200K views, which is like nearly 20% engagement, which is fantastic. So how were you able to pivot in such a successful way, do you think?
Yeah, actually it's funny because like I went from having a few million views on that video, and then the next video I posted, it like just went back to my normal viewership. I thought my life was like totally changed after I hit that viral video. I was like, oh my God, all my views are gonna do super well now. So I experienced like a lot of burnout after, because I was like, oh, okay, that's not the case. I think how it ends up working out is usually like that's the top of the funnel. Like people might find your channel that way and they might subscribe for that type of content. And then the videos I was making, like not really the type of content that people subscribe for, but there's still a little bit of overlap. People interested in college or people interested in like college life in general. So yeah, I think that kind of helped. But I was trying to find this, like, I'm sure you guys do this too, but like find this fine balance between making videos that bring new people in and then making videos that also kind of like keep people in the ecosystem and keep people engaged.
Now, is that the time you decided to go full time?
I really didn't decide to do full-time YouTube until like my second semester senior year of college, like 3 years in. And still was like, should I go like apply for a job? I come from like a pretty like conservative family, and so they were definitely like pushing for me to just like go get a job. So it took a lot of like, I don't know, even though it was like a no-brainer for most people, like I feel like it would be a no-brainer. For me, it was still a very like last minute decision of like, okay, I'm gonna do YouTube like after I graduate college. So yeah.
How much were you making at the time where you decided, all right, I'm doing this?
I decided to do YouTube full time. Like that full time decision was when I was making as much as I would at like a consulting job. And so I was like, if I'm gonna make the same amount but I can do what I love, then there's no opportunity cost in like going to go work a corporate job, because it's not like I'd be making more money there. It's not like I'd be having more fun. It's not like at the time it wasn't like I was getting more opportunities. So for me, it was just like, okay, when the pendulum kind of like switched over to, okay, most of the opportunity is on the YouTube side, that's when it made sense for me to like really commit to that.
So was that like 100 grand a month or a year or something like that?
100 grand a month. Yeah, 100 grand a month. I was like,
we're so used to it. I might want to be a consultant.
We're so used to the finance niche.
No, sorry, 100 grand a year.
Yeah, sorry guys, I don't have a finance channel. Not like that.
Jack, your threshold is
not like that.
I just misspoke.
No.
A year?
It's funny now when people say like, when sometimes we'll ask like, how much you make? They'll be like 80 grand. I'm like, I always think a month. Everything's now a month. It's so bad.
Oh, 80 grand a month. That's not bad at all. That's okay.
We gotta get that up.
Yeah, it could
probably double it.
Yeah, we can work on it. No, that was huge for me. Like the 6-figure threshold.
Yeah.
Was definitely like, okay, I can do this like full time. Yeah.
What did your parents think about it?
At first they were like very, very hesitant, very reluctant. They definitely were like, every time I went back home for break, they're like, so where are you working next year? Where are you getting that internship? But over time I'm kind of like, I'm very stubborn, and especially with my parents, I'm very stubborn. They know now, like if I'm gonna do something, I'm just gonna do it. Like they can't really change my mind. So over time they just gave up, and yeah. They're very supportive now, like of course.
What do you vlog now? If someone asks like what your style is or why people watch, what would you say?
You mentioned like day in the life videos.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's just like honestly like a bunch of day in the life videos, but they're just vlogs. And now I live in New York instead of on a college campus. And so a lot of it is just like me hanging out with my friends, getting coffee, and
that just
like
sounds
living
like
my
the life to me. That sounds like the life. You go out, you hang out with your friends, you just film it, right? Like everyone already does, like on Snapchat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You post it, you make a bunch of money. How is that? Are you just like on cloud 9?
I mean, lifestyle content is great in that like, yeah, you can just live your life and then document it, and that's like very natural and organic. I would say like it has its own consequences and like its own, I don't know, there's sacrifices that you make because your work and your life are so intertwined. And sometimes I wish that I could just like have work mode, which is like going in and like making a video, producing a video, and then like getting off, and then like just kind of being on personal time, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's hard because like so in college, like I was making videos about being in college. And so once I graduated college, like I had to make videos about being someone who makes videos. And so it's a very like weird loop where you're like, okay, if most of my day is consumed by like thinking about how to make videos, like what are you actually making videos about? So that's like a very like challenging thing as a lifestyle creator, is like, okay, then you have to go make your life interesting. You have to go like do things that are interesting. Otherwise it's not going to be entertaining to watch. So yeah, you hear that from a lot of vloggers, but
what about like the David Dobrik kind of vlogs? Do you think that you could produce something similar to that?
I don't think so.
You don't think you want to go in that direction?
I definitely would not. It's just like too produced for me, and like
you know what's crazy? I just realized that style has officially died out.
The David Dobrik
David's
style?
not posting.
No, but Logan Paul was doing that. Remember that?
Yeah, Logan quit before David though, didn't he?
I think so. But there was that brief period of time where everybody, I feel like, did the David Dobrik route as like 5-minute videos, just clip with high retention.
True.
And I have not seen a video like that.
I liked it.
But then now I feel like we went the Emma Chamberlain route of just like these long 20-minute vlogs, very low editing, just very personal.
I don't think we're there yet. I think we're not at.
No?
I don't think we're at the Emma Chamberlain. Like Emma pulls it off really well.
Yeah.
But I think like it is a bit of a pendulum. I don't know. There's still, I feel like the dominant thing is still like fast paced. It's not like David Dobrik style, but it's still
I agree. It's fast paced and also like challenges. Like that's kind of what's like popping off.
Yeah. But you also can't compare like 10 million views on a challenge video to like an Emma Chamberlain video. It's like totally different.
Yeah.
But first, we want to thank today's sponsor, Shortform.
Reading is really one of the best ways to understand complex and confusing financial topics. But one of the really difficult parts is just finding the time, especially when books are like 500 pages long. Thankfully, though, it's nice to get some of that time back with Shortform.
Shortform is an amazing book guide that not only gives you comprehensive book summaries, but also expert analysis with very useful comprehension exercises. Shortform also offers a ton of different book genres to choose from, and my personal favorites are business, finance, and entrepreneurship. I recently used Shortform on a book called To Sell is Human, and it was able to break down the very complicated subject of contemporary selling in just a couple sentences. So instead of spending days on a 272-page book, I was able to get all of the key ideas in less than 10 minutes.
My favorite part of Shortform is that you're able to choose the length of your summary. I could choose to read the chapter-by-chapter guide or just a single-page summary. Shortform publishes new book guides and articles every week, and Shortform subscribers get to vote on which book comes next. So to get 5 days of unlimited access plus a 20% discount on an annual subscription, you could visit the link down below in the description or go to shortform.com/coffee to get started today.
Again, the link is down below in the description. Get started and save tons of time today. And with that said, back to the podcast. How are you able to cultivate such a dedicated audience? I still can't wrap my head around it because like I said, you have like what, 200,000 followers on Instagram, but you have videos that get, or photos that get like 50,000 likes. Those ratios are insane. Like the people that follow you, they actually watch all of your content. It's not like they just like hit subscribe and they don't stick around. How are you able to keep these people around? Is it just because you're very personal in your videos?
I think it is that. Like when you spend 10 minutes a week with someone and like you share kind of like what's going on in your mind. A lot of times I think the relationship that I like compare it to is like if I was like FaceTiming my friend, like, and I'm updating them on like what my week looks like or like what I'm up to, and just like having almost like if you're hanging out like the way we're hanging out, but then imagine there's like, I mean, it's kind of like this actually, where you have like another person just kind of sitting in on that conversation, and you can directly address that person if you want sometimes, and that's pretty much like they're a part of this friend group and they're just like hanging out with you. So in that way, I think a lot of times people come up to me and they're like, hey, it's me, like, you know me, right? Like, but I have no idea who they are, but I get it because like I sometimes watch creators, and I've also like been like had that feeling of like, oh, it's me, like we're friends, like, you know, like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think like that creates a very strong bond because in a way, like they don't feel like just a fan, but they just feel like a friend. So I think that's like a huge, I don't know, for me, it's like a great part about making like personal videos is that you get to develop like a personal relationship with your viewer.
And would you say you're very genuine in your YouTube videos? And can viewers sense people being genuine or not?
Of course he's going to see yes, he's genuine.
I'm actually fake as
no, man.
Actually, everything.
I'm just wondering.
Actually, everything is just fake, you know?
Viewers can tell if a creator's being genuine or not.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's uncanny how viewers know, like, certain things like I never talk about sometimes. They just know, like they can sense like the craziest things like that. They would have no idea what's going on, but like sometimes they'll DM me and they're like, hey Elliot, you okay? Like you look a little down today. I was like, or like they're like, is there something going on between like you and a friend? Like, you know, I'm just like, how could you know that? Like it makes no sense, but there's some smart people out there. Highly like emotionally intelligent. Just it's crazy.
People tell me all the time, Graham, you look tired.
Graham, you look tired. You're like, I am.
Like, yep.
Very tired.
No, half the time it's the lighting.
Bags.
It's the lighting. Bad lighting makes me tired.
Are you tired?
Sometimes.
Yeah, so maybe.
Some videos I'm not tired and people are like, oh man, you look tired. I'm like, it's the lighting.
That's
That's
why Graham's so particular about the lighting.
Yeah,
sick of the tired comments.
Tired to counteract the lack of sleep.
That's funny.
How is your business broken down now?
Like YouTube in general? I mean, a lot of it is, for a long time, I used copyrighted music for a while. So AdSense is like, I still mostly use like, nowadays I do use non-copyrighted, but I've never like relied on AdSense. It's just like not as high for lifestyle creators. And so mostly like brand deals for sure. And then a huge part is like the clothing, copyright. Sorry, that's confusing because I just talked about copyright. But no, the clothing is called copyright. And then, yeah, so clothing, brand deals, AdSense. It's kind of like the mix for YouTube. And then of course just like random things on the side. But yeah.
Can you give us a rough estimate on what your income would be every month?
It fluctuates a lot. Because some months I'll do drop, some months I don't do drop. So that makes a huge difference because I only like do drop every few months. It really varies. Like, yeah, I will say like I have seen it like for some reason I always imagine that like my channel is dying and like my career is gonna die.
That's
every single day, man.
Every single day I'm like, oh my god, this is it.
Yeah.
Like we just hit the apex and like we're going downhill now. But you know, you had Shelby on here a few months or maybe a month ago or whatever. We were talking because we had we went on like a trip together, and she was like, yeah, like, you know, like my income just keeps growing. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, she's a little bit more, like, has a few more years on me. I'm like, okay, like, I'm just going to keep it up because like, hopefully it'll just like keep growing. It really is like interesting how more opportunities just like keep coming up. And sometimes that's like a problem because you don't really know which ones to choose just because you have so many, but it's a great problem to have. But it gets distracting sometimes for sure.
So it's extremely variable, basically.
It is. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if you guys feel that, but
mine's extremely variable.
In general,
like, it literally will go like 2x and then like 50%.
Yeah, because you could have a great like brand deal, or you could have like a good month in views. You can control it a little bit, but sometimes I don't know. Sometimes you can't. So
do you ever worry that making more money is going to make you seem less relatable? That all of a sudden you're like a rich guy who's like, ooh, he's pretending to be, you know,
relatable
a certain way. Yeah. Or if you get, you know, too flashy, then it's like, oh, he doesn't get it anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely like a risk. Like I've seen it happen to like a lot of people where they become very successful and then they're like suddenly out of touch. It's a thing, like especially for lifestyle creators. I think for me, like my goal is just to like be genuine, be authentic. Like if I am like making more, like I'm not gonna hide it. Like I'm not gonna like go some people like, I don't know, I'm not calling anyone out, but you might like go like live in like a small apartment because you're like, oh, like you know, I don't make any money. Or sometimes people will just be like, oh, I don't make money, like I'm broke. They're clearly not broke. I'm never gonna be like, oh, I'm broke, like when I'm not broke. But I think that's important. Like that trust in like a viewer, like as long as you're being honest, it's like fine. I think like I follow some creators that like I know make a lot of money, and like it's not like I like them any less because they make more. Like I'm happy for them. Like I think true fans, they like root for your success. So I've never been like, oh, I need to like hide like if I'm making money. Of course there's a risk of like, you don't want to like, this is just me as a person, like I don't want to be overly flashy, like I don't want to like flex on anyone, like that's not the goal. So yeah, I think just being yourself with it, like, and if you're just like a person about it, then it'll probably just bite you in the butt.
I agree. I think it depends on how you use it, right? Like if you're making a bunch of money and you're like, guys, I'm like, I can't believe it, this is amazing, like I'm so fortunate to be in the position I'm in, then people are rooting for you. Yeah. But if you're just like, oh yeah, I just got this new car, I got this ice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
there's a way to do it.
Stuff on you. Yeah.
Danny Duncan was a great example of that. I remember when I first met Danny, he was living, I think it was a 1-bedroom apartment in Hollywood. I knew he was making a killing. Guy didn't spend money, and that was just him.
That's just
I mean, but he invested so well too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He's so smart behind the scenes. But yeah, he was just a 1-bedroom apartment in Hollywood. He just went there every now and then.
Yeah.
I think he like trashed it. I've seen some of the videos. He's like throwing people against the wall. I feel bad for the landlord.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it goes to show you. I mean, he was really authentic with a lot of like his spending in his videos.
I think I was like just chatting with him. Like I think he's like a very just down to like he's a real guy. You know, like doesn't try to like just like shows it as it is. And I think that's the best way to do it. Eventually, if you just are faking it, it'll eventually like bite you in the butt. So. Yeah.
Now you were mentioning that your phone is black and white. Is there a reason for that? Like you've said you never saw the colors of the podcast room.
Yeah. It's maybe I've seen it, but like maybe it's just because I walked in and it was like in person. Yeah. My phone is in black and white. It's just that's just the way.
Is it healthy?
Is it better, or like what?
Like it like that.
What is it? What does that do? Is there? I bet there's a study. There's got to be a Vanderbilt study done that like says black and white is better on the eyes.
I don't know
the
the study.
Makes you smarter or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know the study, and I don't know where I started. Like when I started doing this in college, I think, and I don't know if I read it somewhere. Probably. Like
so you had it for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean sometimes like I go through phases where it's color, but like I'm in a good phase right now where it's been black and white for a while. Good phase. Yeah, this one's a good one.
But what does it do?
It just like keeps me off my phone. If you I have this, I'm just like very addicted to my phone because well, everyone is, and then also like we do it for our job, so it's also there's that factor. I just when I'm scrolling through Instagram stories, like it's just not it's just not as like fun to look at. So then you end up putting it down versus if you are scrolling with color, it's just like I don't know, you could scroll for hours.
But what about for things like if you're studying someone else's YouTube thumbnail, you know, you want to look at their colors, or you're taking photos? How does that work out?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I take all my photos in black and white, and then like sometimes I like send them over to like my friend, and it's terrible. Like the lighting is so bad.
That would be a great way to test thumbnails, though, is do it black and white and see if you could get it to stand out in terms of just the visuals alone, and then you could add color. That is interesting, afterwards.
Yeah, because that will also show you contrast pretty well.
Honestly, like not that well. Like sometimes I'm like, this is a great photo, and then it's just like terrible.
It's just terrible.
Yeah, but
that makes sense.
I don't know. It's a small price to pay to just stay off my phone. I get very like jittery if I like spend too much time on my phone. I don't have TikTok on my phone. I just like I don't know.
TikTok is way too addicting. I feel like every episode I talk some
You love
crap
talking about TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point I've been trash talking it for such a long time, but now anytime I have like just downtime where I know I just want to like my mind is gonna go to mush for 5 minutes, I'm like, all right, open TikTok and just see what's up there. And 20 minutes goes by. It's so bad.
Yeah. 20 minutes not bad.
No, 20 minutes is not bad. That means you have a lot of self-control.
You know what? Actually, we could look at I turned on the screen time.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Graham. Okay, so a long time ago, we had someone on the podcast, and we were talking about screen time, and I was so curious what Graham's was because he's like working all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Let's recompare, guys.
Should we guess? Can I guess?
Guess.
4.5 hours. Too much?
That's
wow.
Really
4 hours and 42 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
but okay,
bad.
Now let's see. YouTube.
What?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, this isn't terrible. I don't think it's that bad.
That's not per day. Okay.
No, so this is what is this in the last week? I've spent 7 hours and 30 minutes on YouTube. 2 hours 14 minutes on Maps, but that doesn't really count.
No, that doesn't count.
That if we get rid of Maps, 2 hours on iMessage, but sometimes I just leave it open. Like I'll
2 hours. Oh, okay.
I'll respond to a text, but then I'll leave my phone like that.
What? Why?
I don't know. Because sometimes someone's typing and I just don't want to click out of it. I like to see a little bubble. An hour on Instagram. Wow, this is actually higher than I expected.
That's funny.
An hour on TikTok in 4 days. So what is that? A little under 20 minutes a day.
6 hours and 9 minutes. Yeah. And I have 3 hours on YouTube, 3 hours on Safari, 2.5 hours on Instagram, 2 hours on Google Maps.
Yeah.
An hour and a half on TikTok. It's bad.
I'm right around like 4 hours. Like under 4
That's
daily
good.
average.
Gotta try that black and white thing.
Which is still not great, but it was a lot worse. Yeah. Like 6 to 8 hours at one point.
Now, switching topics here, you were saying that you watched Jack's video.
Oh yeah, you saw. Okay.
Wow.
Well, it came up like on my way here.
It came up on your way here.
Yeah. I didn't see it. I haven't clicked on it yet.
You haven't clicked it.
Yeah.
Let me say.
I'll watch it right
first
after
off,
this.
Shout out to Sean Rizwan. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Sean.
Yeah, I know that you know him.
I'm good friends with Sean.
You guys hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he gave me that thumbnail suggestion, and it was a banger thumbnail, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the asking strangers like money questions.
Yeah.
That stuff's just like popping off right now. And
Yeah.
I thought to myself, I think I could do this. Okay.
Yeah.
So I went out to like downtown Vegas.
Nice.
And but for some reason it's like blowing up on TikTok.
There you
People
go.
on TikTok like eat it up.
It's good. It's a good format.
Yeah.
My most viral video is me asking questions to strangers.
I like the idea of being able to get content, just kind of like letting strangers be strange.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just going up to them and letting, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
instigating some weird conversation, seeing where they take it.
It's not a new thing either. You guys know like Humans of New York? Like it's like
I've
a
heard of
blog.
it. Yeah.
And it used to be very, very popular. I don't know if it's as popular anymore, but it's a similar concept, like going out and like interviewing just random strangers in New York. And it was huge. And like this is like the next generation of that.
It's always like there have always been pranks, like that's always been huge on YouTube.
Yeah,
like
of course.
Loft, like telling jokes to people, stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
always been huge, but it's just showing up right now finally for like finance. Like people are like talking about their income
Jack,
and stuff. Yeah.
you could one up this by going to Fremont Street at night on a weekend. You need to do this at night.
Oh my
not
God,
on
that's a
weekday.
great idea.
Yeah.
I feel like you
like
went
Jack Manley, but money.
Yes, because you know what,
That's what I
you
get
went
too.
in the middle of the
Minus
day.
like the girl
That's
and guy
funny.
stuff.
Yeah, you
but-
went in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
That place gets crazy at night, and just imagine the interactions you
Yeah.
have. It would be 10 times what you did.
30% of the people
And-
I interacted with during the day were already drunk. Imagine
how about
night.
this?
That's gotta be
Oh,
like
yeah.
95%.
Jack, imagine, and how about this? You pay people $5 to tell you their net worth.
Oh, they would just tell me anyways, man.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, that was so
No, they'll
easy.
just tell you.
Yeah, I just went up to people. They were all
Yeah.
cool. Like
Yeah.
some people rejected me, but overall, I would say like 75% of people were okay with it.
If they're wasted though, like I don't
Oh,
know,
yeah.
you can if you can
Yeah.
like really
You think
assess
that's
the
bad?
credibility of the.
Oh, that's
Like,
true. Yeah.
If you're
that's a good
just like
point.
really drunk and someone's
Ye-
like, "What's your net worth?" I don't know how honest
yeah.
that.
I'll
answer's
do that
gonna
at
be.
night. Yeah.
I would try it at night. Maybe the net worth question, people are going to be like, what's a net worth?
Yeah. That would be good. That's good content.
You know, but a
Yeah.
really simple, like a finance question. Really
Yeah.
easy.
I love those videos where people go up and like, all right, how many continents are there? And people will say, oh, a continent?
Yeah, what's a continent?
35? Like,
Yeah.
those
And
are
the
guy's
my
like,
favorite
yes.
videos. I want to do something like that.
I have
asking
a
people
great
simple
idea.
questions.
I love the videos where the news reporter, whoever, make up a fact. So you should just make up a crazy fact like, so did you hear that the president just raised the interest rates by 20%? And just see what people say.
That's good too.
Yeah.
Somebody's
might
going to
just-
be like, oh, I expected it from that guy.
I've said, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Did you say, did you hear about this? And then they say, oh yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah.
Completely false.
There's like a
Total lie.
statistic. It's like or like not a statistic. There's a study, maybe some Vanderbilt study. I don't know. They're like, oh, just say anything. If you say a fact, it doesn't have to be true. So not a fact, I guess. If you say any general statement about anything, but you add like a little bit of specificity to it, people will
agree.
90% of the time say like, it's okay. Yeah, I believe that. That's real.
Wow.
Yeah. So you could probably pull that off.
Be a good piece of content. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
You know what, man?
What?
Go to Fremont at night on a weekend, ask people what their thoughts are on Andrew Tate.
Oh,
You would get some wild answers.
that's a good idea.
Wild
Okay.
answers.
Done.
I
I'll
get
do it.
credit for
I'll
that
shoot
one,
it
though.
tomorrow.
I'll see you tonight at
Okay.
Fremont.
Yeah, tonight at
You run
Fremont
into
Street, I'm
me,
going.
and I'm like, I'm just like,
I'm like, I thought you were
Andrew
leaving
Tate.
tonight. I love
Ah,
that
no,
guy.
I had to go to Fremont
Yeah,
Street.
and
you
get
know.
but get like everyone from like old, young, men,
Yeah,
women,
okay.
professional, like just
I just gotta go and like collect footage for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Just go and just get as much as I can. But
realistically, that's what you should be doing is spending like 8 hours
yeah,
from 6 p.m. to probably 2 a.m. if you can,
yeah.
and get a wide range of questions. Spend 3 hours Andrew Tate, 3 hours net worth, 3 hours something
That's
else.
what I did.
Yeah.
When I shot the first time, I probably shot for nearly 5 hours, and it was like midday. It was burning hot. It was really hot.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and I mean the end product was like a 9-minute video.
Yeah.
So
Now, why did it take so long? Was that because a lot of people said no, or their answers weren't interesting?
a lot of people said I was extremely anxious, to be honest.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
very hard for me to go up to people and like ask them personal questions. In general, just like for me going up to someone's very challenging. So a lot of the times, if you look at the raw footage, just like, I can't do this, JJ. I can't do it. And JJ's like, you got it, man. Just
Yeah.
one more. We need one more. I'm like, okay, I think I got it. And then I walk up to someone and like immediately turn around. Nope, I can't do it. I can't do it, JJ. But that was a lot of the raw footage, to be honest. But it was very draining. Yeah, but that's why it took so
yeah.
long.
So
Yeah.
at the end, the security guard came up and gave you guys a bit of a hard time.
Yes.
Told you guys
Oh,
to
really?
leave. What happened?
Yeah. Okay. So I got in trouble. I was like approaching this couple, and the
Uh-huh.
security guard came up to me on a bike, and he's saying, like, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that." And I cut the video, and then I went back in, and I was just finishing the interview with the people. So the guy came up to me. He's like, "Okay, these brands behind us,
Mhm.
if you're making money off of this, they don't want their like logos shown." It was like White Castle and like a bunch of
Gotcha.
other brands. And I was like, "Oh no, I'm not making money off of it." Channel wasn't monetized when I said that,
Mm.
so I wasn't technically lying.
Sure.
Now it's monetized. Made like $40. Okay. So if these guys
So
want
now
to
you're
sue me
gonna
out of
get
40
sued.
bucks,
I don't
okay,
believe that.
they can have my
I
$40.
don't believe that.
I don't believe it either. It was a public space.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like argue with a cop guy. You know what
Yeah.
a bike cop. I don't know.
I
what
think
to
you'll
call
be
him, but
fine.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think White Castle is going to come after you. For
Yeah,
40
but it was funny because he comes up and he's like, "You can't do this," and he's like all mad. I'm trying to he's like, "Don't put the camera," and he like slaps my hand away.
Yeah.
And then it cuts, and I'm just asking the same people the question. He's just gone.
You know what? It would have been funny to get him to answer if he went to college.
Yeah, that would have been really good. He was not in any good mood though. He was very upset.
That's funny. Like you just got to push the boundaries. Like never stop recording, and you just kind of go
Yeah.
with it.
I think I could.
Yeah.
I think I could do that, but I had like during hour 4 and 5, I was getting much more comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'd probably have to be near the tail end. But
Yeah.
I would love to do something.
It's
like
hard going up to people and just like it
It's
takes some
really
practice.
challenging.
It's really hard.
that. Yeah.
I once tried to film this video where I was selling like trying to go from like $1 to like
Oh,
$100
wow.
or
Yeah.
$1,000 in a weekend or a week. and I just filmed the first day, and for some reason I was filming 4K, which is terrible. And I just like 6 hours of me trying to sell water bottles to people, and I scrapped the video because it was so bad, it was so hard. But a lot of it was same exact thing. Me just being
Anxious,
like, oh my God, I cannot do this. Like, I do not want to go up to people and like ask them to buy this one water bottle
That's
that I
the
have.
hard part is when you're soliciting value out of people.
Yeah,
like you're
that's
like,
hard too.
you know what I mean? Like I'm asking people personal finance questions. Like I'm not necessarily like taking anything away from them, except like maybe they're like financial like privacy.
Sure.
But if you're like trying to sell something like selling a water bottle, like what Ryan Trahan did, I was like, there is no chance that I can do that.
It's hard.
Yeah,
Trying to
really
get
hard.
something out of random
What
people.
are your thoughts on the Ryan Trahan penny challenge?
I thought it's great. Like he basically daily vlogged, right? Like that. I mean, I thought that you couldn't really do that anymore, but he did a great job. I think I'm a huge fan of any content style where you have to like watch multiple videos. It's like an ongoing storyline. Like I love it when like most videos on YouTube, I feel like they're one off. It's not like you watch one and then you're waiting to see the next video. Like normally on TV shows, it's kind of like that. There's like a cliffhanger and then you start it back up on the next episode and then there's another cliffhanger. So it keeps you going. So like I love that there's an overarching storyline because I think like there is a place for that on YouTube. It's just like really hard to achieve because it just sometimes like your videos just don't do as well. And so it's hard to like keep that. If you have, that's consistent viewership right there. So I think it's great. It's like TV.
Yeah.
In a way.
His ability to go up and be like, howdy, you want to buy some water? And just like constant no's is incredible because I would imagine he has to approach 100 people for like every 5 maybe that say yes, so 1 in 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. So speaking of making money, I sold out.
You sold out? How'd you sell out?
Oh, jeez.
Well,
here we go again.
I'm going to have to tell you guys the story here, but you may notice something different about the camera angle.
Wait a second. You don't have you have a memory card in the camera.
I
actually
do.
just noticed that. This is
So,
the first time he's
let me explain to you guys what happened. I was minding my own business on Instagram when I get this message from Lexar. Lexar, if you guys didn't know, is an SD card company, and they said they wanted to send me a SD card. So I stuck it in the camera, and you know what else I said? I said, why don't you guys sponsor me, and I don't give any of the profits to Graham and Jack, and I stick a sign right here.
I think that's a terrible idea. I think that's a really, really bad idea.
But on the bright side, guys, they did send you guys some card readers, some SD
good.
cards. So I'll bless you guys for that. But so yeah, guys, the official memory sponsor of the podcast or myself
So,
is
Have you guys really not seen this?
So Elliot, I was kind of aware of it, but I'm still a little in shock that it's actually happening.
That's
but
so funny.
We're gonna change the direction of this conversation back onto Elliot.
I can't believe that's funny. That's funny.
you gotta keep the side hustle up.
One thing.
Oh my gosh, Alex. We're gonna have a talk.
We're gonna have a
after this.
very, very serious talk about this, Alex.
As you know what?
How much are they paying
you? know
you,
what?
man?
How
much are they paying you?
We'll do this as a midweek episode to keep you guys watching. So you have to subscribe to see our
confrontation.
with Alex about what's going on here.
Yeah.
So now we have a continuing storyline.
That's funny. There you go.
Gosh, Alex.
That's funny.
So
I thought you
How
guys.
much it cost to sell out, Alex? Well, I guess just
I can't listen, man. I can't reveal my secrets. But if you're interested, hit me up on Instagram, okay? Yeah, I don't know how.
in all seriousness, it would be funny if all of a sudden, like everywhere around him is sold out, like just multiple sponsors.
I think it'd be funny if he had a hat with like a dangling thing on it.
Look how much retail space. I mean, there's a sign here, one up here.
We got some space right here too.
We have a lot of. Yeah, we could sell out really big.
Guys, you can't take my money making
Hey, wait
idea.
a second. Is that the iced coffee hour? A fan sent
a
that
fan?
thing in,
Oh, yeah,
and you're
yeah.
covering.
So
No.
a
The other
fan?
one behind the hard drive.
Oh no,
Did
there's
you cover
no,
that up?
There's nothing
A
here.
fan made us that thing, and you're covering it up with your sponsor.
No.
How does that feel, Alex?
Listen, the fans should be happy for me, okay? I'm making some money. Jack, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Come on.
Oh.
The fans come first.
Someone made that, man.
The fans come first, Alex.
All right, guys. All right.
I mean, that needs to be.
You know what?
Yeah, there we go. The fans come first.
I just wanted to keep those there to let you guys know.
That
was
is
for
so
you.
funny. I saw that and I was like, "Oh, nice! You guys got like start sponsoring."
Oh no, they didn't. No, they genuinely didn't.
I was like, "Oh, you guys are doing like sponsored a segment here." Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
One thing that I wanted to talk about with you is that you're in a content house, aren't you?
Yes, I'm in a creator house. It's called Your Mom's House.
Your mom's house.
Your
Is it
Mom's
actually?
House.
Is it actually called Your Mom's House?
It's actually called Your Mom's House.
Don't talk about my mom like that. You're at my
She's
mom's
gonna talk
house.
about
Yeah.
your mom like that? What do you-
Yeah.
I'm going to your mom's house
Say
later. You know.
something, man.
Save it for Creator Clash.
Yeah.
Wow,
No, there you go.
Crash
There you
Part
go.
two,
Yeah.
So you're in your mom's house.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
You're
in-
still living with your mom.
I live in my mom's. No, I live in your mom's house actually.
in your mom's house.
No, I live in your mom's
No, you
house.
live in your mom's house.
Yeah,
See?
I know. I do live in your mom's
Okay,
house.
all
Yeah,
right.
there
No,
you go.
Your mom's house. So,
Mom's house seems pretty nice though.
your mom's house? Yeah, it is.
No, your mom's
We're all
house.
getting confused.
Yeah, your
here.
mom's house.
But you live in a creator house, you said, right?
Yeah.
And what's like the reason behind that? And I've also noticed like all of these companies going and like sponsoring these houses,
Yeah.
and they're usually like mansions or super nice places. Do you have any like insider information on that? Or how exactly did your mom's house come about?
Yeah, it's not like a typical creator house. Like we don't have like brands sponsoring it, and like we're not even making money off of it. Like it's very much just friends that are creators that happen to live with each other. Actually, not even in a house because we live in New York, so in an apartment. So technically, that name is not even right. It should be your mom's apartment. But yeah, no, we're just like a group of friends, and like we live together and we make videos together. So I did this like month in LA where I like live with creators. It wasn't a creator house. It wasn't like a content house. And I mean, it was in the sense that like creators living together, but it was very much just like super natural and organic. And it was like the best month ever. Like we made videos together. It was like very organic collaboration. And it was fun. It was just super fun. And we learned a lot off of each other. And so like I went back to college. A lot of people went back to school, and I was like, okay, like how can we like do this again after college? It's like such a good environment to be in. And so that's when we started the house. Like, I guess it's been a year now. Yeah.
Who else is in it?
First lease. Kelly Wacasa, your mom Ashley. So there's some inspiration for the name there. We previously had a member. Her name was Amber Chase. She's no longer part of the house. And then we have like some new members coming. So yeah, it's very much just like an apartment.
Yeah.
Is it a nice
living together.
place?
For New York, it's like spacious. Like it's really hard to find a lot of space in New York. So for New York, it's quite spacious. So it's not a luxury high rise. Like it's not like
It
nice
looks
like
pretty
that.
good in the photos I've seen of it or the videos.
Yeah, it's a little bit ratchet actually. Like, but it's nice because like we beat it up a little bit. Like we got a skate ramp in there, and that's weird for New York for sure.
Skate ramp in the place.
Like there's a half pipe in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reminds you of the movie Big.
yeah,
yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just like, I don't know, just kids like screwing around in there. So.
How much is rent?
Rent? You reacted to what I spend in a week
I
video.
did. Yeah.
And you were spot on. So for me, I think it was do you remember what you said?
I probably said $7,500, 65.
No,
I
not for me.
forget.
So
No,
Me
total.
personally.
Yeah.
4 a month
$4,000 a month.
for me. Yeah.
Do you have like the nicest room?
I don't have the master. I think I have the nicest room, low key.
But they wouldn't agree.
No, I think they would agree.
Oh.
I feel like I have the nicest room.
Okay,
I think I got lucky.
but it's not
Yeah.
the master.
It's not the master. Master pays a little more.
So you got a good deal.
Okay.
Do the math. And
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, in the What I Spend in a Week video, I'm spending a lot of money going out. And, I think I gave you a lot of criticism that I think after speaking to you now was unwarranted.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I think it was warranted.
You were
I thought it was
going.
great.
You were going to coffee shops. You were spending like $8 on designer coffee and
On
like
designer-
$15 avocado toasts. But now that I'm hearing about it, that this is like your full-time thing and going out making content, you can't really make the content like that. Being like, hey guys, I'm going to make my coffee at home and have an avocado toast by myself, and I'm going to invite someone over at the house today. And it's more entertaining to watch you go somewhere, even if it's at a cost, because
Yeah.
that cost is at that point just the price of doing business.
It's a little bit of both. Like, I mean, honestly, yeah, I could definitely cook a little bit more. Like, I don't know. It's something I'm trying to work on. You inspire me to like try to cook more. But no, it is also like sometimes I'm like, okay, I can like film it if I'm like going out and like meeting up with a friend. I think New York is obviously like very glamorized. Like people like the idea of like going to New York and like what is life like. And if I just stay in my apartment all day, it's like I don't get to show off the city as much. So there's like that. But no, I should definitely be cooking more. I'm just like terrible at it. So
And when you're trying to figure out like which day you're gonna vlog, is it based off of if you know something's gonna happen that day, or do you just pick a random day? I'm gonna vlog today, and then you try to create exciting stuff in that day.
yeah, that's pretty accurate. Like if something's gonna happen already, like I might just like add in a few more things to like make it a little bit more interesting. That being said, like sometimes I just like commit to like I'm gonna vlog that day and I have nothing planned. It's always a really tough vlogging day, but I only vlog like really one day out of the week. So
would you say you work a lot in general?
I do. Like I honestly used to work way more because I was in college, so like balancing school and YouTube. Nowadays I still do work a lot, but I also like hiring people and like working with more people like is definitely like I don't edit my own videos anymore. Like still a little bit of retouching, but yeah. So like that saves a lot of time and like focus on more things. Yeah.
So walk us through a normal day. What do you do? Because it seems like if you don't,
he doesn't want to watch a video. He'd rather just tell.
Well, the thing is, it's like if you don't edit the video and you spend one day a week vlogging.
Yeah.
What do you do? What are
That's
the
a
other 6
great
steps,
question. It's just like so different every single day. Like usually I wake up, I go get some coffee, get some food in me, go to the computer, just to, like go through some emails. Maybe I get lunch with someone. It's like a meeting. Yeah, think about like if I need to plan some videos, like I'll just like brainstorm some video ideas. A lot of times I'm like working on copyright, so like talking to manufacturers or like talking to my team, and it's just like all over the place. Like a lot of like meeting up with people, a lot of planning videos or like thinking about YouTube, but then also like planning copyright and doing operation stuff there. It's really different like every day. I couldn't tell you. It's just like all over the place. And then sometimes I travel, so that gets in the way. It's a lot.
It's pretty amazing because you only had like 4 hours of screen time. So you're like not on your phone that much.
No, I'm not on my phone too. This is a good week, so.
It's a good week.
Yeah, it's a good week. Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to be on your phone when you're at lunch every day, Jack.
Yeah.
You're going out to breakfast every morning.
Yeah. I've been
dinner
eating,
every night.
I've been eating out every single day.
Have you really?
Yeah, I have.
Every single day?
Every single day.
Why?
I get Chipotle. Every single day.
Oh, you're doing the Alex Hormozy
Nope.
thing?
Okay,
really?
so let me explain. You know who Alex Hormozy is?
No, I don't.
He's like this like entrepreneur guy.
Only eats Chipotle?
Kind of. He did, yeah, for a period of time, for a year or so. I decided I don't want to cook in the kitchen. Takes too long. It's exhausting. I always buy a bunch of stuff from the grocery store. It always goes bad. I feel like I'm wasting food. But if I just go to Chipotle, a bowl is like a meal and a half for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I make some overnight oats, and that's pretty much I'm good for the day.
There you go.
Overnight oats and like Chipotle bowl. And Alex Hormozy said that his accountant came to him and was like, "Hey, it says here that you ordered Chipotle like 500 and so times this year. There must be some sort of error." And then Alex said, like, "No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right."
Jack,
So
why don't you try Chipotle catering? Because that would give you enough to make your own bowls for a whole week.
that is a really good idea. That is an extremely good idea.
We just need to win one of those. My friends, like one of my friends had the Chipotle card. It's like a year free Chipotle. Try to win that.
He got it?
Yep.
How did he get it?
He just won it. It's like won it in a sweepstakes, and he got like $50 of Chipotle every day.
What was one? I completely forgot. There was it like a soup plantation thing, or it was the all you could eat pasta from Olive Garden. That was it.
That's a thing.
Yep. And they gave away 500 of these, but you had to apply for it. And then there's a lottery system where you have to sign in at a certain time to buy it. It was like $100 for it was all you could eat at Olive Garden for like a year or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
and I thought I was going to buy it for a video. And that morning, like I had applied, I had secured a spot to go in and like buy it.
Yeah.
But you had to be really quick and I overslept.
That's like you know that old like American Airlines like free flight pass?
It was, what was it, $250,000 for free flights for a lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's like that.
Yeah.
But a little worse
crazy.
actually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
Well, what about you guys? Like, what is your day to day? Like every typical day?
Oh, Jack, you want to go first? Your busy schedule?
Yeah. So usually what I do is I wake up, right? And then I go to the gym. That's generally speaking like the first thing I do.
Nice.
I come back home, eat a little bit of food, overnight oats maybe, and take a shower, and then get ready, start working pretty much. So that would work. Yeah. Sometimes I have some stuff to do, surprisingly. And I'll usually take care of some work. Probably done by 11 a.m. Probably done with all my work. No, I keep working. Usually take some breaks. I play a lot of ping pong.
Oh, really?
I just go back to work. I usually don't go out. It's pretty much just like I'm in my room on my computer basically all day.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. A lot of the times I've come over here to film sponsors, or we'll be filming podcasts, and that's pretty much it. I don't go out.
Yeah.
Right? I live in like a a suburban type.
You live in a content house, Jack.
I kind of do. Yeah.
Oh, do you?
I mean, all 5 rooms are filled up with
Okay.
kids that are between the age of 20 with men. It feels weird saying like adults, right? It feels weird saying that because I still feel like I'm a kid.
20 and 25.
But it's between the age of 21 and 23. So we're a couple of us like make it.
How old are you?
YouTube. I'm 23.
23. Okay.
Yeah. So kind of a content house. Yeah, but we mess around, we have fun.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if you call it your dad's house.
Your dad's, all right. My place is your dad's house. Yeah. The guys will love
Crossover.
that one.
Yeah. That's good.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much the average day. Your turn,
Yeah.
Graham.
Oh man, every day is different. Depends if it's a posting day or a non-posting day, but usually like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I'll wake up, try to plan out a video. Alex comes between 12 and 1. We review the video that's posting that day. We'll spend 2 hours thinking title, thumbnail, answer comments for an hour afterwards. And then after that, usually we'll either be filming a podcast, I'll go to the gym, I'll react to a video for the second channel, or I'll film what I planned out earlier. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are usually planning days, where I'll spend all day just trying to script out videos to then post the next day or that following day.
Because I was gonna say you pump out a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say you have to just be filming a lot
Every day.
every day.
Every day
You
I'm
film
filming
every
at least
day.
one video a day.
Because you have what,
Yeah.
like 3 channels?
3 channels posting 7 days a week. So there's a video posting every day. And that's
Wow.
actually down. At the peak, I think it was 12 videos a week. I think at the peak.
Wow.
And I did that for a few months. Actually, it was
That's
9
crazy.
videos a week for, I think, almost a year. A year, give or take, 9 videos a week.
That's crazy.
Went up to 12 for a month. And then now I'm back down to 7.
And you think 7 is where you're gonna stay?
For as long as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes
7
it's
is a
8 because we'll
lot.
post a midweek episode.
7 is still a lot.
Yeah.
Do you ever
To me,
feel
that's
like
normal.
really?
Yeah.
Well, you're coming from 12, so
Yeah, exactly. So it's just whatever the threshold is. But like 3 of those videos don't count because I think those are the reaction videos. So that's just
Sure.
me like reacting to a video. Pretty easy. It's an hour title thumbnail.
yeah.
Not the end of the world. The podcast is simple because it's just 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And that's usually something like this. It feels kind of like hanging out. It's the 3 main channel videos a week.
Gotcha.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's still a lot.
That's
like
a lot.
every video is its own video. Like there's a lot.
Yeah, it's
got to
be its own topic.
Yeah.
And especially in times like this, there's not a lot to
Yeah.
talk about that it's that different. So there's got to be topics that repeat because
Right.
sometimes people don't watch. They'll be a topic on a video and people won't watch that one, but they'll watch
Yeah.
the next one. Sometimes it's just busy.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some topics that repeat every now.
Is
and
that
then.
your biggest challenge? Like coming up with new video ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had a list of topics where all I knew is just like, all right, Graham, you got to plan out this video this day.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that so easily.
If they had the video, just topic.
video topic, title,
Yeah.
thumbnail done, and then all I had to do was plan it out and film it would be so easy. But part of it is like trying to see what I watch so much YouTube videos to try to figure out like what people want to see, and then I'll
Yeah.
create videos around that.
Right.
Very little about like what I care about at this point. It's just
Sure.
whatever the viewers want to see, and that's dictated by how many views each video gets.
What is that different from in the beginning? In the beginning, where you're just like making things that you wanted to make,
Yeah.
and then now is it like okay, you feel a little bit more responsibility of like, no, I have to now create for like my viewers.
Oh, totally. Yeah. In the beginning, it was really fun because these were videos that I wanted to make that didn't exist.
Right.
And the finance base on YouTube was nothing.
yeah.
And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, there's no videos on being a real estate agent. These are the videos that I wish were up there for me.
Yeah.
And so I'd make all these videos. And financial independence very quickly became a thing in like 2017 on YouTube.
Yeah.
No one was making those videos except Beat the Bush and maybe like 2 other people. But
Mhm.
they weren't doing well with title thumbnails. So I thought, wow, we could make this so much bigger with a good title and a good thumbnail. House hacking was one of the first videos for me that did well. That didn't exist on YouTube with that sort of title thumbnail that would attract an audience.
Right.
But as the space grew, it became way more competitive because now everybody's doing the same videos the same day because there's nothing. So when you have 100 creators all searching the internet for the same topics and there's one little nibble of something, they're going to hop on it fast.
Yeah.
And so if I don't cover a topic within 24 hours, everyone else has already covered it. And there's no
Interesting.
need for my take on that.
So now you feel like you're more like almost like a news outlet. Like you got to be
Oh,
fast
totally.
with it.
Yeah, because I'm never going to be the fastest because you
Yeah.
have other people who will literally live stream the event.
Right. Right.
And they provide such great context on that. So
Yeah.
I know I can't compete with that.
Sure.
There are other people who will just freestyle a video within an hour afterwards.
Yeah.
I can't do that. So mine is always I'll come to it with as much perspective as possible
Yeah.
in a way that's edited and informative and entertaining,
Right.
but it's got to be within 24 hours.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I also feel that where like in the beginning it was like a huge gap and you're like, okay, I can fill this gap. There's a huge gap in the market. And then now it's like super interesting where it's not so much of that. It's more of just like, how do I keep growing like what I've built?
Yeah, it's hard to see where the next gap is because for a while, I think Jake Tran really got on that bandwagon. Or do you watch his channel?
Yeah.
He got on that bandwagon of just the really cool like documentary style videos.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing everybody making documentary styles. Like Moon is another channel I've been watching a lot of that makes similar videos, just different topics. But it's like these documentary style videos are popping off. Same with like Patrick CC, Sunny V2, like the rise and fall of blank.
Yeah, like narrated, very dramatic.
They do so well, but so many channels now are popping up like that. It's hard to figure out like where's the need now in the marketplace and like what's next.
Yeah. It's like that intersection of like where's the gap and like what are you good at? Like for you is probably very clear.
So I'm trying to find it too.
I think there's a lot of like soul searching on YouTube.
Yep.
Like who am I? Like who am I? Who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Not to get so deep or whatever, but I think I don't know if you feel the same way, but just on YouTube it's just a lot of like, and I feel like, are you like, Jack, you're trying to like figure out your stride on YouTube as well, or?
I suppose so. I mean, basically all my focus is on the iced coffee hour, and on my off time, like I'm just kind of doing whatever I guess I have fun with.
Yeah.
I'm on my own personal channel. That's pretty much it. I guess I kind of in a sense trying to find what I like, because every single video I've posted has been a completely different format, like a reaction versus like a challenge versus like a stranger's question thing, you know what I mean?
There's so many like different types of videos on YouTube, and I feel like a lot of people starting off are just like, okay, what's gonna do well? Like, how can I make something that does well? But I think it's actually the opposite. Like, what am I good at? Like, who am I as a person? And like, what can I bring to the platform? There's I don't know. It's a different game. Yeah. I don't know. It's a different game.
How often do you have those feelings or go through those moments?
Oh, like all the time.
Really?
Like I always have to do a ton of soul searching. Like, who am I? Like, who do I want to be? Like, what do I stand for? Or what am I good at? In the beginning, it was so clear. Like, okay, college videos. Like, I didn't like the ones that were being made, but they were doing well. So like, okay, I can make ones that I like, and they'll hopefully do well. But yeah, now I'm like, I really feel like I'm approaching a little bit of a pivot, actually, which is also kind of scary. Yeah, I'm just like trying to think of like,
what's prompted that?
Just like being just not complacent, but just making similar videos and like not really innovating and growing. So I think it's like a constant cycle of like, okay, you're really happy with the videos you're making, and then you're not so happy with them, and then you change something up and like try to make them better, and then you become happy with them.
Do you feel like you've stagnated in a way, like you've kind of peaked and plateaued in terms of like what you are currently capable of?
I think like I haven't been as like creative, and I think part of it is actually also like having an editor now, like not being able to like do as much creatively, because like there's only so much you can communicate like creatively, and it is a challenge. And then I think YouTube also is a lot about like consistency over like trying to like change it up all the time. But a lot of times for myself, like it comes from like making videos, this comes from a place of like wanting to share something like creatively. So it's a balance, because like you don't want to switch it up too hard, because then that kind of like is not good for your channel. But at the same time, I think it's like important to like think about how you want to innovate and like bring something new. I think you guys need a soundboard. Do you guys have a soundboard?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put
one of those, but like right here, and then you guys could be like sound effects.
Something like that.
Yeah, like, oh, like how much did you make this month? Yeah, exactly.
They say a low number, but we're already pressing it.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah. No, just for community effect. No, I think you guys do great.
Okay.
This set is crazy. This is something else.
Huh.
Yeah.
What is something you think you can work on?
Something I can work on? I can work on a lot of things.
This could be business related, personal, anything.
I think a lot of times I just need to remind myself to like be patient. I think I'm 23 too. Like I'm just very young, and I think like YouTube is going well, and there's a lot of great opportunities there, and like I'm excited about it. But I also like you said, Graham, I want to like maximize my life experience still. I just like, I don't know, there's a lot of pressure because there's a lot of like opportunities, and you want to make sure you're like making the most of it. But at the same time, I'm really young. Like I feel like I am really young and still have a lot of growing to do. So I always feel like I need to be in a position where I'm learning the most. And early on YouTube, that was YouTube. Just like, how do I learn how to like grow on YouTube, all that stuff. And I think like I'm learning different things nowadays, but yeah, I think like I really have to think critically about like what is going to make me kind of like a more well-rounded person.
That's really interesting because I'm the same age as you, but I see it in a different way. I feel like I'm going slow. I feel like I need to like speed things up. I feel like I'm too old. You know what I mean? Like I don't like excuse my like naivety, even though I am only 23. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You feel like a sense of urgency? Like you're running out of time?
Not that I'm running out of time, but like a sense of urgency insofar as that I'm like racing. You know what I mean? That I gotta keep going, like hit some goal, hit something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've been there too, like just trying to like reach the next milestone and reach the next milestone. And I'm interested to hear, Graham, your perspective on this too. But I used to just move the goalpost. Like, I just keep moving it. But after a while, it's like just not the same as, I don't know.
I would tell you to keep going. And for Jack, I'd say double your output. There's so much.
Just go harder.
So much more. I feel like there's so much more. I'd say a lot more guest outreach. I think a lot more picking videos for the second channel. I would say for the filming, I don't know your filming schedule right now, but I'd pick one day a week, like Saturday or something like that, where you just film for 6 to 8 hours. I'm fine if you outsource the editing on those videos.
On what videos?
The you going in the public, like there's no sense of you editing those videos yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just tough to find an editor.
Well, I guarantee that it's not tough. There are probably hundreds of people right now who would love to be your editor.
The only thing that I'll say as a counterpoint to that is the fact that, and I mean this in no offense, I mean this in the most respectful way possible.
Every single time you say that.
I really mean it in a respectful way because I think that there's a lot about you that is extremely admirable. But when I look at you and I see that you're continuing to push and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're going to hold out for as long as you can and you've been saying the same thing for years, but it seems like you haven't like traveled, you haven't like gone and do things that I would at least find enjoyable. Like maybe you find enjoyment in sitting down and working, but that's just not how I find a lot of enjoyment. I like trying out things and being creative and filming new videos and trying out new things. But when I see you, I'm like, God, I do not want to like in 10 years, I don't want to be like that.
But the thing is, it's like now is the opportunity. When you have that golden egg and you have that golden opportunity, you shouldn't waste it. When you think of how many people would love to be in that position, if you don't give it 110%, and you don't make the most of it, I feel like it's being wasted.
I agree that it can easily be wasted, but I think as it currently stands, I'm actually doing a very good job. I think I'm wasting it.
I think you're doing a good job, but I don't think it means taking it easy or being complacent or not pushing yourself even further. Because I've seen more people not give it 110% and lose it than have pushed and maybe gotten an extra few years. I just think it's such a volatile career in general.
But you can say you keep pushing for an extra few years, and then a few years pass, and you're like, keep pushing. And it's just like a treadmill.
There's going to be a point of diminishing returns at a certain point. Either your income scales at direct proportion to that, or your other investments just become more to offset everything. I think there'll be a point of diminishing returns, where all of a sudden, I think life experience trumps the opportunity of continuing as is.
What do you think about this?
I think it's really important to like know what your priorities are. Like, what is important to you? What are you willing to sacrifice? I think people are different. Like, some people, like a lot of it is like how you grew up, or like what were your childhood influences or traumas or whatever. I think it matters a lot. Like, you do have to like listen to yourself a little bit. For me, I needed that push a lot. Like, people just telling me like, you're not working hard enough. And it got me to like work harder, and it got me to a place where I was happy. But I do think like it just depends on like what's important to you. Like, just got to ask yourself that, because different things are important to different people. So
I agree with that. And I think I have a fairly good idea of what's important to me. But Graham likes to continue to put his opinion over my shoulder. No, this is what's important to you, Jack. This is what's important to you.
It helps to have someone pushing you, Jack.
I agree. I
am pushing you.
But I think that it's better when it comes from a more encouraging, a place of encouragement.
The fact that I'm pushing means I believe that you have the potential. I wouldn't push someone who I don't think has the potential to do it.
Graham,
I'd be wasting my time.
What's your personality type? Do you know?
It's an introvert of some sort.
It's INTJ.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because we took a test on the podcast.
I think it's super funny, like seeing the interaction, because so I'm like an ENFJ, And I just took like I didn't take the test recently, but I like looked it up recently, and it was funny. Like one of the things that it said, it was like, oh, likes to give advice to people that he cares about or he or she cares about, but often too forceful in a way where it's not received the right way. And so I was just curious, but I've had this where like I've also been someone that like likes to push people to like work really hard and like go for it, and it's also like kind of backfired on me a little bit in some of like my personal relationships, because I figure that everyone like wants the same level of success or like has the same drive or same priorities that I do. But then I come to find out that, you know, some people are just like interested in different things or like have different priorities. And I just think it's important to like listen to yourself and like really listen to how you feel. That being said, like sometimes you need that push. So I do think like that question of like, what do you do every day? You know, it's like such a hard question to answer.
It's a very difficult question.
It is like so different every day. And like, you're right. Like I do feel sometimes like I'm really busy. And then if I look back, I'm like what exactly am I doing? Like, you know, like I just like write it down almost or check my calendar. It just gets blurred. Yeah.
There is a lot during the day though, even for myself, that you realize you waste doing stuff that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I'll spend a lot of time sometimes. I'll be in the middle of planning, but my mind is just elsewhere, and I'll check my email for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then that leads to checking CNBC for 5 minutes, which leads to checking Reddit for 5 minutes. And then I get back to planning, but it takes me 20 minutes to get back into the zone. And so there's like 40 minutes, it's gone. Yeah. That didn't need to be gone.
Yeah, I used to think that like if I wasn't working from the moment that I woke up to the moment that I fell asleep, then I wasn't working hard enough. But I really think that like quality work matters way more than the hours you put in. Like there's a lot that you can do.
I agree 100%.
I think that matters a lot.
Yeah, it's tough for me because I've always had this mentality that your 20s could be like completely sacrificed to set yourself up for the rest of your life. And I think if people just gave themselves from 18 to 30 just to put their head down and work and just bust their ass like all the time, maybe, you know, the occasional weekend trip or whatever, but like the focus should be work for 12 years. I'm curious to see how many people would be further ahead if they really gave it 100%. And that's and not to discredit people who, you know, are maybe in a job that they don't like. And a bajillion other things could come up, but to really be like very dedicated,
right?
Of like, I'm going to spend these next 12 years and I'm going to work on myself every day.
Yeah. I think it's great. Like, I also think it's idealistic. Like a lot of people I think just don't care for it. Like,
and that's fair.
I'm a little bit more like work/experience on that spectrum. Like I care about like experiencing like stuff like travel. It seems like worth to me just to like go travel and like experience life. And just like how you said, like, oh, 20 is time to like work and like grind and like set yourself up for life. I could also be like, oh, 20s, it's a time when like you're young and like you can travel and then you can tolerate like,
that's true,
you know, going to like different places, like 5 different places in a week. You can't do that when you're, you know, like, a lot older. It's just like harder. So I don't know. It's a balance. I just think it depends on what's important to you as a person.
Yeah, I guess I've never had the urgency to go and do those things because I feel like I could do them anytime. If I really placed the importance on that, I could do it.
Right. And that's a conscious decision for you. That's like, okay, I could do that, but I don't want to because I would rather do this. So that's like your values, and I think like that's what it is. It's like,
I think it is too.
I think if you are, as long as you're aligned like with your action and what you value, then you're living a good life. Because like, what more could you do? Is like, if you are living out the life that's in line with your values.
Yeah,
I think that's really the goal. Do you guys like living out here in Vegas?
Love it.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I like that there's no traffic. I went across town the other day at was it 6 p.m. Was the same as driving in the morning on a Sunday or Saturday. No traffic.
Yeah.
And it was tax is fantastic.
Yeah.
The food. I had $25 all-you-can-eat sushi the other day.
Food is good.
$25 for quality sushi with a good fish-to-rice ratio. Very good. And just everything about it. Just the people here are very friendly. The neighbors, now we know the neighbors. We wave to the neighbors.
There you go.
We walk down and a neighbor will come up and say hi.
Nice.
Alex is working with some neighbors now, which is cool. Alex picked up some business from that. It's just really friendly. Really
the
nice.
Heat? Can you take the heat?
Heat's not bad because I'm inside all day. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
At night, it's really nice because you go out. It's kind of like a little warm, but it's like a comfortable warm. At night.
Yeah. Do you think you'll stay here for a while?
I do.
For many years? Decades?
Most likely.
Decades? For the rest of your life?
I mean, too early to tell, but
Where did you grow up?
Los Angeles.
Okay. So that's why you think the traffic is good, because LA
yeah.
traffic is terrible.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you lived anywhere else?
Nope.
Are you willing to?
I'd be
Probably
open.
You'd be open to it?
Yeah.
Have you lived anywhere else?
I grew up in Ventura, which is
Okay.
an hour north of LA.
And then that's where you like grew up in.
Yeah, I grew up in Ventura, and then I moved to UCSB, and then from there I moved in with him
Gotcha.
in Santa Monica, and then here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say go live somewhere for a year.
I want to live in New York.
Yeah,
I wanna
come to
do
New York.
New York for 1 year. I've told myself that.
I think that everyone should try New York for a year.
That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah, I really feel like you learn a lot about yourself in New York. It's a really tough city, and it's very uncomfortable, but that's its charm, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about New York though?
It's uncomfortable. It's just
Why?
like everything's expensive. It's very like you don't get a lot of space. It's dirty. It smells. It's like the weather is like really harsh, and I kind of like that because it keeps me like on my toes, and it kind of like keeps me. I don't know. It's like a cold shower. It's the equivalent of like a cold shower. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain.
That makes sense.
You learn a lot about yourself when you're like under those conditions.
I feel like all of the people that I know that have spoken about living in New York speak very fondly of it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna live there. Past after I turn 30,
Mhm.
but I'm probably gonna spend my 20s in New York just
Mhm.
because it's. I don't know. There's plenty of things wrong with it. Taxes, one of them, but it's just like I said, I'm someone who like maximizes, like cares a lot about experiences, and I go through a lot there, like in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different areas of my life, personal, work,
Mhm.
everything. So I don't know. I've learned a lot about myself just because there's a lot of trials there.
What about those experiences? Like, what stands out to you?
Like this past year, a lot of like personal experiences, like dealing with friends, like a lot of my personal relationships. Part of that is also like living in a creator house, like obviously very complicated. But I've learned so much about like navigating some things, like even stuff like me not being a confrontational person, but then by nature of like trying to do business and then also live with friends, like having to work on that skill. That's an example of like something in my personal life. Just areas of growth that like you would not find unless you were like put in those specific situations. I think like every few months, like I go through like some stuff in New York and I learn a lot about like myself, and I think I come out usually like a better person just having grown. And it's not always just like career stuff, a lot of personal stuff, and I care a lot about like the personal career work life balance. So it's important to me to like focus on everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we're going to be taking questions from our audience, from the fans on Patreon. Okay, here's some questions for you. From Ben, what is your process from making videos to uploading videos? I feel like we answered that pretty well.
Yeah. Plan out a day, bring my camera around.
Is there anything in that day that hits with the audience? You're like, they love when I go to this one coffee shop.
Not necessarily. I do try to fit in a talking segment into every video, which doesn't always work out because people click off of like talking segments usually in a vlog. Like you see the retention go like this when you start talking. But I do think like it's really important to build that audience relationship by talking to them directly. Like a lot of times it's more like the viewers just like, like watching in on you versus like you're actually there and they're talking directly to you. I think that's a different type of creator.
Where do you source? Do you use stock B-roll?
Stock B-roll? No.
Yeah. You don't? So
stock B-roll?
Yeah.
No.
You don't use any stock B-roll?
No. Why would I use stock B-roll?
What if there's something you're trying to explain and there's a really nice, stock footage or something?
I don't know. I just never have used B-roll like that. I mean, I use my own B-roll. I don't use stock B-roll. It's just not my style.
That's interesting. I feel like all we use is stock B-roll.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's like all of the, All
That's
right.
I don't know. I
That's
just never
cool.
have. Like,
Yeah.
I'm showing my life. It's weird if I kind of show someone else's footage.
Shelby Church, I think, does the same. She films such good B-roll. I think she's got a backlog. She has to have a catalog. It's just like her walking in 100 different spots, like her in a grocery store and like different buildings and stuff. And then she could pull back from this.
Right. I also don't do voiceovers. Like,
Oh, yeah.
so that's a little different.
Why not? Don't you think that would be a good idea?
I want to experiment more with voiceovers just because it's a little bit more versatile. I just like, for the longest time, I've been doing this and just talking. So that's what I'm used to. But I'm actually really interested in like experimenting more.
What about walking around with that thing? Do you get embarrassed like filming out in public?
Not anymore. Like in the beginning, yeah, but I got over it real quick. Just a lot of just like loud and proud, just like really just you gotta for me, it's like if I don't do it, no one's gonna do it for me. If I don't do it right, then if I don't get the high enough, this is not a good shot, you know? Like this is the right shot.
Yeah.
Straight on.
Do you ever like what about looks at you in public, or do people ever try to interfere because
I just don't care.
Yourself? They like, hey.
Yeah. I read 4-Hour Workweek my freshman year of college, and in there's a bunch of like uncomfortable exercises that you're supposed to do, and one of them was like lying on the ground in a public area for like 5 minutes. So in the middle of lunch, like in my college dining hall, I would just lie down in the middle. Like, you know, you're scared of judgment.
Did you tell
like
your friends you were doing it?
No, I just do it. Like, and people are just like, what are you doing? Or just random stuff like push-ups in the middle of nowhere. And like weirdest looks, obviously very judgmental looks, and like a lot of judgment from my friends and like people that I was like meeting because it's a freshman year of college. But it really trained me like super well to just like not care. Like I need what I need to get done, I get done. Like I don't care if it's like this and if I have to yell or whatever. It's just like practice.
It's cool.
Yeah.
What other like challenges did you do from the 4-Hour Workweek?
That was the one that was the most memorable. I don't really remember.
I think there's one where it was maintain eye contact.
Oh, I did that.
The other person looks away.
I did that where you just maintain eye contact until the other person, and then it gets very uncomfortable really fast.
With someone you're not talking to?
Yeah, I would.
So you're saying like you're sitting over here, there's someone else sitting over there, and you're just staring at them?
Even during a conversation, like you want to look away.
Like we could do it right now.
It's
like
really difficult.
Yeah, Graham and I could have a little.
Well, we both read the book,
so we're just gonna go forever. Really, like I can probably just go forever, unless I just like keep talking and get you to look away. But yeah, we can just gaze into each other's eyes.
Like you really want to look away.
I know. Like right now is that point.
Does that count?
Now my eyes are just getting watery. So I was like also not blinking, so that wasn't helping.
You gotta blink. Yeah. It's okay to blink.
Yeah, it's okay to blink. It's actually weirder if you don't blink. That could be an added layer.
Try that and then report back on the next episode.
Yeah.
Just with a stranger?
Yeah.
It could be with a stranger.
I'll do it at Chipotle tomorrow.
Or anyone that you're talking to. Like the order Chipotle, but stare at them until they look away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not hard. Because I mean, if I'm speaking to someone, I actually maintain eye contact. Like I feel like I do it pretty well.
Yeah.
And I'm not really scared to
you should do it with people that are just like walking by on the street.
That's what I think would be harder. Yeah. If I was just sitting down, you know, biting my burrito,
right,
just staring intently.
Well, it depends how you're eating the burrito.
How else would you eat it? Would you eat it sideways like this?
The joke is lost.
I got it, Graham. It's okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's definitely something I should try.
Just got a lollipop.
A popsicle.
Yeah, the props might not really help, but no, it's great. I actually, you know, you were just talking about being uncomfortable in public. This will help. Like, not uncomfortable in public. Uncomfortable asking people questions in public settings.
Yeah.
It'll actually help a lot. Like, the eye contact thing is big.
I gotta practice that.
You can
lie
like
down.
that
a lot, actually. Okay, I'll report back.
Yeah,
I'll report back. All right.
Well, cool. Well, thank you. I really appreciate this. Thanks for coming to Vegas. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Did you get your free stock in the description?
I'm about to right now by going down there in the description and clicking it.
Have you followed me on Instagram?
So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Iced Coffee Hour podcast. Thank you, Elliot, for coming over here. Very gracious of you.
Thank you.
With that said, you guys,
until next time.